It's like we've got a tool belt, right? And the tool belt, and then you've got all the tools in the belt, right? So you've got anything from your palm of your hand to your whole hand, you know, using your whole hand just flat, just generally rubbing your hand, putting the weight on maybe the palm, but your fingers are touching. So there's no pressure on your fingers, but you've still got weight on the shoulder, on the body through the palm. If you want to get sharper, when it comes to wanting to get sharper, you can use your knuckles, right? If you want to do a sharp move somewhere. You find that you want to get sharp but deep and the knuckles don't get there, you start bringing out your elbow and you can get in there. Also depending on what your elbow's like. Some people have got a big blunt elbow. Other people have got a really sharp pointy bone at the elbow. So it really depends on what your body's like. I'll show you how to use the thumb in certain ways. Right? There's a certain few tools that I think that I use that enable you to not put so much pressure on your thumb and work deeper. And there are a bunch of levering tools where instead of doing wiggling with your thumb, you have your thumb and you lock your thumb and I'm wiggling my whole hand and wrist where that stays in place, right? And then you're wiggling this, right? Another tool I use is this one. I make that hook with these fingers, and then along the bottom of the feet I'll draw that out. I'll pull it out, right? See what I mean? So you can really get into a deep point, and if you're trying to wiggle, forget wiggling. You don't have any strength, right? Well, you get that tool hard, strong, you've got that even steadiness. You can pull it out so slowly and focus on a point. Where if you try and wiggle and drag your thumb finger across it, the point that is the most deep is in the middle, then it starts to back out. There it's not as strong, then it gets strong, then it gets weaker, and then you can't keep the same strength. It's the same as if you're using your elbow. You keep your center of gravity over your elbow. With this, you're right. So if I go like this, I'm going to hurt myself, right? So you're moving your body over that elbow. It's the same with this move. I'm moving the strongest part of the move. That's what's moving, right? So I'm never kind of trying to go. And that one where it's almost like you're screwing on a nut. You got that, it's like you're holding something, that's locked, and then you're just wiggling. And then you can feel the tiniest little thing. So give me a hand just so, when you go, you say you're working on, you can get like the tiniest little bits like that there. You can work on that. If you're trying to wiggle, man, try and wiggle and do the same thing, you lose the feel. It's hard, and you're straining yourself for one. I can probably do it if you really try hard, but not every time, whereas if I'm like that,
you can feel
so easy. So consistent. It's a completely consistent touch. And you can bring it all the way, everywhere. You can explore in this way you can explore every little part. You can take your time to loosen up the most detailed aspects of a person's body. Think about that levering effect in any way that you're going to work. So that's the foot, you go, and that's the heel and that's the toes. You can drag your knuckles through this way. It's a lot easier to get that levering move, right? To get nice into the detail of the areas. So the levering things really help where you're using this whole part of your body instead of just using. Now everyone also is going to have different tools, right? Where people think that, okay, can you show me how you did that again, and what that technique was, and then they're caught up in, oh, that's right, he did that technique here. And my body's completely different to yours, right? You've got a small little elbow, and so if you do the same thing to this person that I did here, you'd probably make it a really different experience for it. So you've got to try and think, what's the experience going to be like for this person on the table, and how can I achieve that experience through my toolkit? I want to affect this part of the body this way. What's going to be the most successful part of my body to have that effect? And then that's when you start to get to know your body. You'll see that my moves are quite simple, where there's other people that teach all these kind of fancy different moves, man. I keep it simple. Big, long moves generally, changing up your body. You're just trying to affect the tissue in a different way. The nice flowing consistency, and where your aspect of touch is always quite present, and your intent is on the work, right? Where there's not any of kind of this fluffiness. It's your body. Like your body's moving more than your hands. So it's not like I'm doing this. It's I'm moving my body into the move. It doesn't have to be a hard move. You can just feel there's a certain presence about my movement. It's like in martial arts, you're moving your body. The other movement's a side product of you moving your body, right? So you're moving your body. You can really take your energy in that way in much of a nicer way than just this.